you know, in Africa, you sleep, you suffer, you wake, life becomes better.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Perfect stuff. I appreciate. All right, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. We are live on YouTube. USA?
Pardon?
Hello? Yes,
Yes.
USA?
No, I was just listening. I didn't say anything.
So we are now on YouTube live, not that one. Oh, okay. What sort of business? Okay, so what you can do, Mr. Marambire, I'm with somebody helping me in the studio. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to help her. So what's going to happen is this. We'll just go to Wilbert R Mutoko. Otherwise, Mr. Marambire, you are most welcome. And while I will be helping her shortly, I think it's important for us to just talk because we are already live anyway. So to those of you who are coming in for the first time, who have not seen Mr. Marambire before, this man was a head boy. This man, unfortunately, his parents passed on when he was a teenager, and he was left alone in the home to fend for himself and go to school by himself. Amazing man, amazing family man, amazing multi-millionaire entrepreneur who has a heart for the people. He is now an author of the book, The Head Boy. And music has been written and played. Book launches have taken place. And this man is back on the show for the third time. And we are saying, Mr. Marambire, we want to know, how does somebody run a business in a turbulent environment and still be able to make it and continue breaking forth? I was on your Facebook profile this afternoon, and I saw that you were even launching new products on the market, things like peanut butter and so on. Mr. Marambire, can you greet the audience and tell us a little bit more about yourself for those who are seeing you for the first time? And we get into it. We want to know, hey, this is COVID-19, things are tough, and you are breaking forth in the economy of Zimbabwe. How can we do this? Thank you so much. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Wilbert. Thank you for having me. And I want to greet the audience, and I want to thank them for their time, which they've spared to come and listen to this program. Yes, just in short, I think I would say I'm an entrepreneur. No, before I become an entrepreneur, I'm a father, I'm a husband, married to Lokadia Marambire, and I've got 3 kids, 3 boys. I'm an entrepreneur who is very passionate about solving African problems and bringing solutions and turn it into a business in the process. This has came after I noticed so many challenges, which as young Africans we are leaving it to foreigners from other continents to come and solve for us. And I think and believe that our generation should take a stand. We should make things happen for ourselves and for our future. So yeah, basically, I'm actually an entrepreneur. Um, I think that's what I can say so far, Doc.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Marambire. We really, really appreciate you. And you are not just an entrepreneur, my brother. You are a philanthropist. And I would like to call you a student of life. You are always learning. And for those who have been following you on your Facebook page, we have been following all that you post, you are giving people free lessons. And I would like our generation to take advantage and learn from you because there are very few wealthy people who are willing to share their knowledge with others. Tell us about that. How come you are one of those who we see standing toe to toe with other multimillionaires, and still some people are not available, and we don't blame them, it's a choice. How did you choose to be that kind of person who is available to everybody anytime?
Actually, Doc, my belief is it's to share knowledge with other people, to encourage other people, and to make sure that those who are learning, they've got someone to look up to. They can learn something from what I'm doing, because I just took my life as a living testimony. Doc, are you there? Doc, are you there?
I'm there. Please feel free to continue.
Oh, okay, because I was no longer seeing you on the screen.
Oh, okay. No.
Yes, so I was explaining that what pushes me and drives me to share and teach other, both young people and old people, those who are interested in business. I have got a belief that we should learn to share information. There's no gain that if you know something, you keep it to yourself or hide information from others. Because one thing that I learned is there's no way one person can finish money in the world. And there's nothing like competition in our business as a small scale business and large scale business, whatever you can call it. Because most of people who doesn't share information, they are afraid that they will reveal how they are making money and someone can take the ideas, of which to me is something different. I believe that I'm a one person, a unique person in my own way. Even if I can share the same information with someone, and then someone comes to do business almost similar like mine, that person can never make me broke, or that kind of business will never compete with me to an extent of become bankrupt. I believe that if I can have competition within my line of business, it should help me to grow bigger, because I will not relax. I will work more harder to make sure that I outstand whatever competition that is there. So and I believe that my life it's a living testimony that's worth sharing with others, to motivate them, to inspire them, and to make them believe that uh, it's possible, to make them believe that wherever there's a will, there's a way.
Wow, that's amazing. So would you like to tell us a summary of the latest events in your life and business, including the fame and the book?
Okay, yeah. Let us start maybe by latest developments in terms of the my business world. As soon as the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic was the outbreak of the pandemic, I was in a process to start food processing. Fortunately, that industry was not affected by the lockdown, even though it was slowly, but we managed to progress, to purchase equipment, set up a plant, and start milling. So that's what I can say. It's latest developments. Even though the other business are still going on, like selling solar energy and the solar panels and batteries, building metro supply, brick production. Yeah, I also have got a private school which is currently closed due to the lockdown. Yeah, and maybe on another part of my life, which I would say it's a latest development, I managed to write a book and finish and launched it in the month of August. And the book turned out to be something huge, more than what I even expected when I was planning the book launch. Um, there are two artists, one artist in Botswana and another artist in Zimbabwe, who did a song about the book. And the book was launched in Harare, Zimbabwe, and also in Botswana. I think for the first time to have a book launch in the absence of the author and do things virtual. I was supposed to deliver my speech through Zoom. So yeah, I think those were amazing moments, and I really thank God for that.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. That's really, really, really amazing. You know, I'm privileged to have known you and to follow your story and learn from you. And I'm privileged to see you saying that this is what I'm going to do, and you do it.
Thank you.
One thing I've seen about you is you are a man of action.
Yeah, you know, if I can think back during the lockdown, I think it was March or April when we did those two interviews. You know, we were talking of the things that we planned to be done. We were talking of I remember we mentioned about the food processing. We talked about the book, and we talked a lot about the humble beginning, the head boy, of which now is well narrated. It's well articulated in that book. And if you could have watched the book launch in Botswana, you know, I dropped some tears when I was looking at my former employers in Botswana, who are now more like my biological parents, seeing honorables, councillors, and seeing the chief supporting the launch and speaking good of the events that happened when I was there. And as they were explaining events, how I took care of the kettles and how I taught them how to make peanut butter, all those stories. So, you know, it was really amazing. And that we spoke here on your interview. And then a few months later, we witnessed such huge events happening. You know, Doc, it's something you can only thank God for such a success.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, okay, I would like to welcome Namsi. Namsi has joined us on Zoom. Thank you, Namsi. And I would also want to welcome, there are quite a number of people that are watching us live on YouTube right now. We want to welcome you all. Thank you so much. You are joining Mr. Banabas Marambire, a man who worked for some time in Botswana, and then he went back to Zimbabwe to establish an unbelievable empire. So he was just summarizing, because it's not his first time to come on this show. So he was just summarizing a few things about his life. And thank you, Namsi. Namsi is saying it's a pleasure to be here. Yes, thank you, Namsi. And you know, we are very glad when people send comments and you share, and then you ask questions. That helps, because it shouldn't be between me and Mr. Marambire, but it should be us as a family. So we have Yemen Solomon, who is saying hello. Hello, Yemen. Thank you so much for coming through. We appreciate you. We would appreciate if also people can type where they are watching us from. Tell us where you are watching us from and how you are feeling right now. All right? Thank you so much. So, Mr. Marambire, you have summarized some of the events that have taken place, including the fact that you just produced a book, and the book was launched in Zimbabwe online, and it was also launched in Botswana virtually. Are there other countries where you have also launched the book?
We were supposed to launch the book in Kenya and Ghana. But then later in the process, after the Botswana book launch, the Zimbabwe and the Botswana book launch, I realized that it was now taking more of my time. And, you know, I couldn't ignore the processes, even though they were so beautiful and hardworking people who were assisting me in the processes.
Right.
So I then decided to only launch in the two countries, and then in the meantime suspended the Kenya and the Ghana book launch.
All right. So thank you so much. You honored us in Botswana by giving us our own launch. We hope that Kenya and Ghana and the other countries will also get an opportunity when time comes. We really appreciate that. Now, you are a success story in Zimbabwe under the toughest circumstances. What is the secret?
I think the secret to start with, it's just God's vision that He has installed upon me. Uh, any entrepreneur, regardless of the environment, he should be able to assess and identify areas of concern where you can launch a business or where you can put or establish a business, regardless of the situation. But what I've learned is in most African countries where there are crises, it can be war, it can be hunger, it can be political situations or anything. That is an environment which is more suitable for business. That is an environment where business people needs business people supposed to be seen active and contribute to the economy of such a situation, such a country. So I think the secret is ability to see opportunities.
Ability to see opportunities.
Yes.
Fantastic. I would take that as number one.
Yeah.
There's, but anyway, maybe you will say it as we go. If you don't, then I'll bring it up.
How many points was I supposed to elaborate on that?
No, there were no number of points. It's just a conversation, so don't worry yourself.
It's okay.
ability to see opportunities. Okay, so I wanted us to bring the issue because I've been following you for some time, so I know another thing that you do very well. Another thing that you do extremely well is to research.
Yes, yes.
I know after you announced that you were going to start doing something in the food industry, you went as far as South Africa to try and look for millers and all that. And I think with the entrepreneurs and the leaders that are gathered here and aspiring entrepreneurs, they would want to know that, because somebody might even want to know, how do you identify opportunities? I'm trying, man. How do you do this thing, guys? And then they also want to know about the issue of research. I know that many people don't like research, but we don't always do what we like. We have to make sure we don't leave any stone unturned. Okay, fine. I have now identified opportunities. What do I do from there?
Okay. Actually, when we are saying identify the opportunity, it's easy to identify the opportunity. How do you identify a business opportunity, especially in a crisis or in a challenging economy like ours? One, any problem that you feel you have encountered in daily life, which you feel is not addressed, that's a business opportunity. Let me say, for example, you find out that you want to buy you want to buy certain goods from your local shops. You can't find such commodity. You can't find such goods. It's an opportunity that, so be the provider. Go and search for that product. You want to go somewhere and you can't find a taxi. You can't find the transport. It's actually a challenge and it's an opportunity at the same time. You be the service provider. Bring in a taxi, Uber like application, anything that can address a problem. So in other words, to identify an opportunity, a business opportunity, you must first identify the problem and solve that problem with a business concept. That's simple. That's how an entrepreneur must think. It's not that every opportunity you find or you identify, you have knowledge about it. Sometimes you find an opportunity which you know nothing about. It's now where research comes in. In last year in November, our government announced that it was a year of drought, and the government opened to anyone to participate in the food processing. I was very interested, but I knew nothing. As a person who grew up in the construction industry, I didn't even know where to start. So I started my research where I acquired in the research, how do I get a license? After I got the information how I got a license, and I noticed that I can qualify to get a license. That was step number 2. Step number 3, I then looked around, where am I going to get either they finish the process the food or to get raw materials where I can process the food. My choice was to get raw materials and process the food because I'm someone who like creating employment. I'm someone who loves manufacturing. Generally, I like manufacturing. So I then went as first to South Africa. Privileged enough, I went to another company, a milling company, where I met the owner, talked to the owner, and he took us through the entire milling process to see the machines, names of the machines and everything. He even allowed me to take some videos. So, as I was coming back home, one thing I did with my friend, we started brainstorming and discuss about the name. Imagine how fast it was. I've seen them. I learned that I can get the license. I've seen the machine. Now I was geared to start. We were now thinking of the name of the product, which we then named it Tashu. In our language, it means what do you call it? Total what can I say? Fully pegged. Let me just put it that way: a fully pegged object, which is full to the maximum. So I then return home and start process. The process is not easy. Right now when I sit and start elaborating or talk about it, it seems like it was easy flying to South Africa, big, get the license, and then start milling. There were some challenges. To get to the relevant offices, get required documents, applying for those documents until I got a license. Now get to find the proper machinery, equipments to use, installation, mounting, looking for a place. It was actually a lot of work. So I think apart from identifying identifying a business opportunity, there is a lot that comes after. It's not easy.
Right. Thank you so much. I'm happy that you then gave more detail. I think that can help somebody to realize that as an entrepreneur, wherever you are right now, there are problems.
Yes.
And those problems are not waiting for people who complain, people who discuss, just talk about them. But those problems can have someone who do like what Mr. Marambire did, to actually say, what could we do about the hunger that has struck Zimbabwe? He is into construction. He is into hardware and other things. But he decides, I could be a problem solver here. And I can actually end up making money in the process while I'm happily serving the nation.
Exactly.
So as long as there are problems, then there must be some solutions. And if you can do your research and realize that, no, this can be commercialized, why not?
Definitely. You put it 100% correct.
Yeah. And Mr. Marambire, if you allow me, I also wanted to add that in terms of problems, sometimes you realize that some problems actually happen to you. And as you are trying to look for a solution for yourself, you end up getting a solution that helps you and helps others.
Definitely, yes. That's how it is.
There's this other woman who became a multi-millionaire. She was a stay-at-home mom. And she happened to have a child who was physically challenged. Okay. So when she went around together with her husband, they were looking for a prema. I don't know what other people call it, a prema. That thing you push where you put a baby when they are young. So she went around and there was no prema that was suitable for a child who is physically challenged. Okay. She went everywhere and she got frustrated. How come manufacturers don't make any prema that is specific for our children? Okay. And then she finally managed to talk to one manufacturer and said, manufacturer, can you make a prema specifically for me, for my baby? And the manufacturer agreed and made a prema for that baby. And this woman started thinking, how many women are suffering the way I have suffered? Yes. And then she did some research and found out that, you know how, I don't know in other countries, but particularly in Africa, when people have a physically challenged child, they hide that child. They feel that it's a shame. They don't want to show the child outside. So you may not know how many such children are around. So this woman took it upon herself. It was not about money. It was about trying to help other mothers.
Yes.
Then she realized, she was not the only one. There were many other mothers who had the same problem. So she went back to that manufacturer and said, hey, Mr. Manufacturer, you did a primer for my child. If you were to do a few more, how much would it cost me? That's how she went into business. She became a multi-millionaire. She's a multi-millionaire right now. And if she is explaining her story, she just knows that she had a problem. She tried to solve the problem and then tried to help other women to solve their problem, and they paid her.
Definitely. It's amazing. I like the way how you are breaking it down for anyone to understand that when we say every problem is a business opportunity, what do we mean?
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Please, guys, feel free to ask questions. Namsi here on Zoom, feel free to ask questions. And our friends on YouTube, feel free to ask questions as well. We have Matsidiso Muremi watching us live on YouTube. And she says, hello from Habane. Hello, Matsidiso. Thank you for joining us. Quadro Moham says, can you elaborate your business so we can learn from other African countries? Thank you, Quadro, for that question. Prayer says, hello, Haboroni. Thank you, Prayer. Yemen Solomon says, I'm watching from Dallas, Texas. From 1991 to 1992, I was in Botswana. Love it. Great people. Thanks, Yemen. We appreciate you watching us from Dallas. Mr. Marambire, there is a question from Quadro. He says, can you elaborate your business so we can learn from other African countries? And then,
Doc, what I'm going to do for the benefit of others, I'm just going to try to summarize as short as I can. I'm running 5 companies. The first company is specialized in building material supply, where we are buying from wholesalers and manufacturers and then sell in retail. We have about only 3 branches in 3 different provinces. No, we have 4 branches in 4 different provinces. And we also got a brick production manufacturing company, which is specialized in producing bricks, window seals, supplying quarry aggregates, sand and pits and gravel. And also we have a manufacturing company that manufactures window frames and other welding, other steel fabrication, other steel fabrication products like sliding gates, burglar bars and all that. I'm also a co-owner of a private school, which is actually catering from ECD to grade 7. I also into solar energy and batteries, inverters supplying. I remember you understanding the previous months before the lockdown, there was a lot of power cuts across Africa. We were also not spared. We were suffering the same load shedding, where we had to feed and supply. We have to chip in and supply solar panels, inverters, and batteries. I'm also partly into transport and logistics, where we've got trucks which are carrying heavy materials and distributed to different people, also even to our company. And recently, we started food processing, where we are milling maize meal. Maize meal in Setswana, what is maize meal? What maize is milling meal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mid.
No, mid.
I see mid.
No, ask anyone to help us there.
You want maize meal?
Yes.
Nancy, can you help us?
I'm not even sure I know, but it should be maybe porridge that's made out of maize, like palichi, I guess.
Palichi, yes, palichi, because I know.
Thanks, Nancy. Oh, you wanted the now I thought you wanted the name Kastswana, yeah, maize meal, like the powder from maize.
In Kalanga, they call it Bisa. That is Kalanga.
Okay. I thought Palichi is Saza.
Palichi, right?
Palichi is Saza.
We call it pallets in Botswana.
Even the maize meal.
It should be maize meal, is it not?
Yes. So
okay, that's fine. Thank you.
We actually processing that, where we are also planning to start manufacturing. We've already engaged in manufacturing peanut butter and packaging of sugar beans. We are also going to be packaging salt. I want to believe we're going to get our salt from Suwa, somewhere in Botswana along Maun Road. We are also going to start producing cooking oil. And there's relishes that we call chunks, which is made out of soya flour. That is, after you squash the soya beans and produce cooking oil, the byproduct which is going to come out of that process, you can actually use it to make relish. You can also use it to make stock feeds, food to feed dogs, pigs, and cattle. So you see, I realized that there's more to it. There's nothing that you throw away when it comes to agriculture products. From when it is from the farms, you process it, each and every process, you remain with a byproduct that you can use for other things. So I tried to summarize what we are currently doing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Highly appreciated. I hope that answers you, Quadro. The next question that I'm going to ask you is, what strategies and tactics help someone to thrive in a turbulent environment?
The first tactic is financial discipline. Financial discipline. You can never, ever be successful in business if you don't have discipline when it comes to money. It's very unfortunate. I've noticed that many African entrepreneurs and many African people, generally when they've got money, they misbehave. I don't know what does money do to us Africans. A very humble man like Dr. Wilbert, you start having money. I'm talking of a lot of money. Totally the behavior will change. We become rude, we become arrogant. If it is men in particular, we want more wives, more women. We want posh and expensive cars. And that's where we miss it. So that is something I would say it's tactic number one, that be financial discipline. And then the next thing is be alert. When you are running a business in an environment which is not conducive, always be alert. In my organization, I've got several managers across my departments, and I receive end of day reports. Not monthly, not weekly, end of day reports, which just summarize how was the business performing. I had to put my time aside that at the end of the day, I look in those reports. Then we have weekly reports, then we go to monthly reports. Why this is important? It's important because things are changing on daily basis. If you can relax and wait to get reports or to get an analysis at the end of the month, you might miss it because things can change within a day or within weeks. You need to be alert. Then, and when we are talking of being alert, it's also to understand your business pattern. When things are not going well, when there are no sales or the business is not performing good, you need to quick and jump in and check to see what could be the cause. Because most people, they wait until it is too late. They will only realize that there's a challenge when there's no more anything, no resources, no money to pay employees, no money to pay rent. That's when they will start to wake up and say, we are in a crisis. So you need to be alert. Then thirdly, you need to be a hardworking person. Doctor, I don't sleep. I've noticed that from my vehicle mileage, in a month, I drive an average of 15,000 kilometers. So I don't operate my business with a remote control. Most people, when they feel like they've successfully or they've managed to establish something, they enjoy to sit down and act like a boss, where they will now command either through a phone call Now, the problem of commanding or controlling your business with a remote control without physical checking, it's you can be deceived. Your employees can give you information which is not correct. But when you visit more oftenly to different branches, you can see for yourself what is on the ground. So that is point number 3. Point number 4, when you are doing business in a challenging economy, particularly like Zimbabwe, um, you need to always have information. Get the information about prices, get the information about the policies, government policies, read newspapers, watch news, current affairs. You need to be updated every time as much as possible. You know, yes, sometimes we are caught up with certain circumstances, but we try by all means to be alert, to know which commodity is going to be scarce in the market, how to control our market prices. Uh, there's a lot. I cannot explain everything, but otherwise, as I was trying to explain, that you need to be financial discipline, you need to be alert, you need to be updated, you need to be a hard worker, you need to be practically involved in your business. Yes, it might differ from one business to another, how do you conduct it, how do you do it, but in as much as possible, be involved.
It's heavy. You have shared some very powerful points. So you mentioned financial discipline. As a coach, I have people coming to me for financial coaching, both entrepreneurs and individuals. Yes. I also have leaders, executives coming to me for leadership coaching. Now, let's just look at the financial coaching aspect. I know not financial coaching, but the financial discipline. I wanted you to, as a CEO, people struggle with financial discipline. How do you make sure that as an entrepreneur, there is financial discipline? What do you do? How do you do it?
You know, the first thing, I survive through a salary. I'm on the payroll like everyone else. And as the owner of the companies, I don't participate in handling cash within the organization. We have put structures, how we can control money from the customer to the company and from the company to the bank. Simple like that. I don't get personally involved. If it may happen that I need some money from the company, like any other procedure, I would have to fill a form, write a reason, request the amount, and it has to be approved by the appointed. We have got what we call a financial clerk. Financial clerk is working hand in hand with the HR and the accountant. So I have to go through the whole process. If I may happen to need something, even milling, if I need milling from our milling company to go and eat home with my family, I buy like everyone else. We have put structures in place with our internal security. The internal security has been given power that no one, either the company owner or anyone who can get in the shop and get out with any product without a receipt. So that will never happen. Even if I'm to go in the shop, when I'm getting out with anything, I had to show my receipt. Without the receipt, the security person has got power and rights to take that thing from me. There's another time I was building my house and I bought 3 bags of cement. They were put at the back of my car and I was busy working. So I didn't receive the receipt, but I had already paid for them. Somehow, our general manager had put the receipt somewhere in his office. So out of conscience, when I was not driving out, as usual, the security were cross-checking my vehicle and they noticed that there were 3 bags. So politely he said, may I see the receipt for the cement? And I was like, the receipt for the cement, I can't find it. Unfortunately, I couldn't leave the premises. I had to call my general manager because he's the one who did the transaction for me. And he directed me in his office where I was going to find the receipt. Now I had the receipt, but I didn't have the D note because you are supposed to have a receipt and the delivery note to be able to go to my. So you need to have a receipt in order to go out with the product. So now I didn't have a D note, but I had a receipt. The general manager had to call and put a word that in the morning I will prepare that document. In short, I'm trying to elaborate what we call financial discipline. At the level of discipline that a CEO or the owner of the company must have for the company to be successful. You don't need to compromise. Some other time I was asked by my former primary school, they needed paint. So I didn't have money. I went to my business and spoke with the accountant that they can give me paint on credit. All paperwork was done. And then after we do, if any staff member buys anything on credit, it will be filed up and sent to the HR so that when the HR is preparing salaries, she can deduct from our salaries whatever that is owed. So it's like the paint actually will cost much. And the HR called me, say, I see that under your name, there's a certain figure which we should deduct. It is written that you took paint on credit. Should I deduct all of it, or you want to make a payment plan for the goods? So I just said, no, it was out of my cautious. I didn't know how much was it actually. So I said, no, you can deduct it. So at the end of the day, when the man was reflecting in my account, I found out that it was very little. That's the reason why the HR had called me. All the money went to the paint. So when I reached at home, we are trying to do our budget at home. The money was not enough. I had to come and ask for an advance. So in short, I'm trying to elaborate that, if as the owner of the organization or as the owner of the company, you are disciplined enough to treat yourself as an employee, I want to promise you, doctor, the business will not collapse. The business will never collapse because there's no one who is milking from the business. Our challenge when it comes to financial discipline is we have this tendency of say, no, I'm the owner and I'm powerful. I can just go direct to the till operator and say, give me 1,000 full a day, or give me $50. Of course, as the owner, they will not refuse. They will give you. But what you don't know is you are destroying your own company.
Yes. 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 Yeah. You are really, 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 speaking practically. And I hope that our friends and family who are watching this will benefit. Financial discipline.
Yes.
So you are a group CEO with 5 companies and you have a salary.
Yes, I actually have personal security. Yeah, I think this month our employment permanent, we are above 150 in our organization. I'm trying to elaborate the group, the size of the company that I'm leading, and
Right.
we have a fleet of vehicles. We are actually not just a small organization, but look the level of discipline, financial discipline that we practice. So, if my juniors, my employees see me practicing such, honestly, it gives fear to them. Say, if the owner is going through the whole process, there's no any chance to manipulate or even for them to feel reluctant and take from the company. So it will be a discipline to everyone.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, you have mentioned very powerful points. Things like you are in a turbulent environment, you must be alert.
Yes.
Daily reports, weekly reports, monthly reports. Don't waste time. And always make sure you're looking for information and things like that. I think you have said it so well. If there are any questions, guys, or clarifications that you need from Mr. Marambire, this is a rare opportunity. I hope we will still be able to get you, Mr. Marambire, because your program is getting too busy from the time you became a celebrity and writing the book and things happening. Now you are always in interviews everywhere and your businesses are growing as well. So, but we are very grateful that you are with us. And then the next question will be, many people in the diaspora are planning to come back to Africa to run businesses. What are your thoughts on business in Africa for our people in the diaspora?
You know, I would say Africa is an untapped business environment. And for our fellow relatives, our fellow friends who happen to go in the diaspora, that is an excellent opportunity, because what you are learning there, the kind of life people are living there, the way how they are doing business, we believe that, especially if those who are in Europe, China, and other developed countries, you are learning and witnessing more advanced ways of doing business. Now, here is Africa, a virgin land full of minerals, with a population with a higher population of unemployment, with a higher population of people living under poverty. This is the opportunity for you guys to do extraordinary things back home. It's going to be a process. Why I want to share this? When when I finished the school, I left Zimbabwe and I stayed in the diaspora for 11 years. So when I was coming back to Zimbabwe, I experienced something which was not good at all. I had to understand, adjust, and adopt the environment in Zimbabwe, which was very different from from Botswana, where I was staying. The conditions and the way of doing business was a bit different. Government policies were a bit different. Mindset of people was a bit different. So those are the things which you just need to look out. But otherwise, my advice is bring the technique, the technical which you are learning, bring all the new ideas and all the new ways of doing business which you are witnessing and experiencing in those developed countries. But even though if you are in Africa, I want to believe most of people who are living their countries, they are going to a better country than theirs, which means there is always something to learn where you are. So I will encourage that our diasporan population should return home and run big companies.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marambire. And usually when I consult for people coming from the diaspora, I say to them, guys, wherever you are, maybe you are in Africa right now, you are in a different country and you want to go back home, wherever you call home, right? Or maybe you are outside Africa and you want to come to Africa or to a certain country. It's important for you to value information. Because what I've seen, Mr. Marambire, is that sometimes you find that somebody has been in Botswana maybe 10 years ago, and they are still thinking that it's still the same Botswana.
Yes.
Maybe somebody has been in South Africa before, then they moved to Australia, and they still have that picture of South Africa many years back. It's not like that. You need to get your facts right so that you can run your business well. Otherwise, you will find things become very difficult for you. Do your research. And I normally say to people, yes, please, feel free.
Can I say something on particularly on that aspect? You know, for someone who is in the diaspora or who is outside this country, and this is my advice on getting information. Don't ask your friend. Don't ask your relatives. Don't ask your neighbor. If it is difficult for you to travel, because this kind of research, it needs yourself to see things for yourself, to experience and understand the environment. Because the issue of asking friends, relatives, or anyone, they tell you what they think is the best. And what they think is the best might be not what you think is the best.
Right.
I was returning to Zimbabwe. What I did before I actually left Botswana, I rushed to Zimbabwe. I processed papers to register my company. And as I was waiting for the results, because by then it was a bit slow, it took me about 2 weeks to get the company. I was busy trying to get information. Even though I was present, I met with someone whom I regarded as a high profile person, who I knew is a big name. They were running business. That person gives me hints, ideas, and how I can start the business in Zimbabwe. Honestly, all the information I was told is wrong. Guess what happened? I got involved in a business that I had no knowledge about. I'm from construction industry, and I was introduced to meat market where we were buying cattle and selling. I lost a lot of money. In the process, when I realized there was no money coming out of that business, I tried to switch off. I met someone who introduced me to mining. We then started mining. We got nothing out of that because we didn't know what to expect, where to explore, and how to get minerals from the ground. So we lost all our money. It's very sad because we sat down with my wife and we said, what should we do here? For your own information, in our account in Botswana, because I was moving frequently, coming to withdraw money, try to push up those businesses. By then, we had left with something like 3,500 pula. That's when we got a wake-up call to say, no, we are walking in the wrong path. We are not going anywhere. Otherwise, things are not going to be okay. That's when we returned back to the hardware business where we are right now. That's only when things started moving. So I'm saying this to those who would want to come from diaspora, that if you're not careful, you hardly earn the money which you worked for years can come and go down the drain in a wrong business. So as we said that you need information, it's very, very crucial. You need accurate information. You need to do something that you know best. Don't do try and error, because you can't afford that if you have got money. Like in our case, we had brought very large sums of money, but all the money went down the drain when we were trying new businesses. We only got recovered when we returned to the business that we knew.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marambire. And you know, this issue of people in the diaspora pains my heart. You know why it pains my heart? You have said something that I was about to say, and I'm very glad it's you who said it. When people reach out to me from diaspora as a consultant and as a coach, they want me to help them to enter Africa, to enter Botswana, to enter Zimbabwe, to enter South Africa. One of the first things I say to them is, can you come over?
Definitely.
Can you visit us? Then they think that it's too much money. It's a waste of money because they have talked to their friends, they have talked to family, they have talked to some people who are not experts. The advantage of dealing with a consultant or a coach, whether you are coming from diaspora or you are within a certain country, when you deal with a consultant or a coach, you are paying for their experience. You are paying for their network. You are paying for their information, which is accurate for that environment. You get the point? So when I say to somebody, can you visit? They will tell you, no, I don't want to visit. I've been checking, Africa is ready. And you know, when you say Africa, this is a continent. Even me as a Pan-African strategic consultant, I will be lying to you if I say I have information for you which is practical for the whole of Africa. It's a lie.
Yes.
Even for Botswana only, Botswana only, where I am right now, I know so much because I've been here for 17 years. But I can assure you, there are some things I don't know. There are industries that I will have to refer you to certain people who are experts in that area. And when you talk to people like that, one, they don't want to come. That is even before COVID. They don't want to come. Number two, they argue with you who is on the land, who is in the land. They will tell you, like, I can give you an example, Mr. Marambire. For those of you in diaspora who are watching, this is very important for you. Take it seriously.
Yes.
Don't be in dreams. Don't, some things you watch on YouTube where you are told that Africa is ready, just come. It's not as easy as you are thinking.
Can I share something?
It's not as easy. Yeah? You know what, Mr. Marambire? Okay, please go ahead.
Okay, last year we wanted to expand into Zambia.
Right.
I had a few friends which I met through Facebook. We discussed about Zambia and they told me that construction was on the boom. We talked about the material supply and they told me that the market is ready and is huge. But you know what I did? Their word was just for encouraging me. I booked a plane and I flew to Zambia. I spent 3 days in Zambia. I spent about 4 days in Zambia,
Right.
in Lusaka. I was doing my research, and for your own information, what I got when I was on the ground, it's a bit different from what I was told. I had an opportunity to learn how to register, which we had already registered a company in Zambia. I need to learn on recruiting and their labor laws and the character and the behavior of citizens towards certain works. Because obviously, if you're going to establish a company, you need manpower, you need to hire people, and you need to know all about that. I had to learn about their salary rates, how much they pay, how do they pay, how do they treat, quite a lot of things. So I wanted to add on what you are saying, that there is certain information which you, as the investor, you can be able to look for when you are now on the ground. So it is very important to sacrifice and go on the ground and do some consultants.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So adding on to what you are saying, Mr. Marambire, you realize that many people in diaspora are losing money because they are trying to save on the cents and then they lose the dollars.
Definitely, yes.
Like you are saying, you went to Zambia and you realized that what people told you may have been some truth, but there is some reality which you only get on the ground. And sometimes somebody is successful in a certain industry. They will now tell you that this industry is powerful, come and join us. But they don't tell you for how long they've been in that industry. They don't tell you the challenges that you face when you are a beginner. My wife and I went to speak in Dubai in 2017. The Dubai that we had in our minds, when we got there, we realized that even with all the Googling and the checking of YouTube and all that, when you are there, you realize this is a different ballgame altogether. In 2018 or 2019, my wife and I went to the UK. We got there and we sat down with someone who is a successful entrepreneur who understands the UK. And he was explaining to us how business works there, how SMM is and so on. I realized that, it's very key. You want to move to a place, even if you are in the same country, you are in Gaborone, you want to start business in Francistown. Francistown is not Gaborone. The people of Gaborone are not the same as Francistown. You will be surprised that you move from Gaborone where you are successful, you will be a dismal failure in Francistown. Now, how do people assume that you are coming all the way from the US, you are coming all the way from the UK, and you have hearsay information? You check a few browsers. Another thing I want you to know, those in the diaspora, is that information in the Western world is easily accessible. There are reports, there are a lot of websites, there's information online. In Africa, some of the websites that you are proud of, that you are browsing, they have not been updated for the past 12 years. That's the reality on ground.
In Africa, the other thing I want to say is, in Africa, our story is being told differently. Always there's a motive. So it's difficult to get the real truth about Africa. It depends who is narrating the story. Sometimes I get very angry when I go on internet and try to get information about Africa and find out that some of the things they are saying about some of the things that I practically know is totally different. It's always about the motive, who is narrating the story and what they want to achieve. So we should now remember what we said when we started. Identify a business opportunity. That is another opportunity which I would want to challenge those in Africa who are able to build up websites, who are able to put information on the digital platform, to sit there and put a very trustworthy platform which can report information without political affiliation, without religious affiliation, with just neutral, true and correct information. I think we need that in Africa to have people raise up and establish such platforms.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I think we have talked a lot about that. And if there are people who have questions, they will ask those questions. I remember arguing with somebody in the diaspora who said they wanted to move to Gaborone, Botswana, and I asked them, how much money do you have for running the business? They say to me, they have something like 100,000 pula. And I say to them, so when you come, what sort of business do you want to do? And this person says, anything. And many people actually say, I can do any business. Bill Gates says, success is a lousy teacher. It causes you to think that because you succeeded in a certain industry, now you will be successful everywhere. It doesn't work like that. You hear Mr. Marambire, when they went to Zimbabwe, met people, they say, this is the industry which is booming. He puts money there, it's gone. He is told by another person, this is the industry, put money. He puts money there, it's gone. Until he saw that, my savings are getting finished. Let me go to what I know. Sometimes it's better to stick with what you know. Which industry do you know? Which industry do you have experience? So the problem is sometimes also people, they don't want to pay a consultant, you know, they don't want to pay a coach. They feel it's too much, Mr. Marambire. So then you are trying to help this person and you are saying, okay, fine. With 100,000 pula, are you going to get a job in Botswana so that you will have permits as an employee? Or you are coming in as an investor? They say, no, I want to come as an investor. Then I say 100,000 is not enough.
Yes.
And this person says, no. When you get a better advisor, please refer them to me, not you, because you are not telling me the correct things. Everybody who is that side has told me that it's possible. With 100,000, I can do this. I'm like, I can't help. Yeah. And it's very painful because I know I'm trying to help this person, but they can't listen.
You know what, Doc? Let me tell you something to add to what you are saying. I personally, you find out that my Facebook posts, they are more educational. They are more educating because I don't know theory. What I know is practical.
Right.
Several times I'm invited to speak to different people, groups of people. And before I even start, I tell them that don't expect to hear big words from me. Don't expect to hear fluent English from me or any of that sort. What you're only going to get from me is experience and practical lessons. So I relate very much to what you are saying because to someone who knows maybe theory in business or to someone who have researched might just think that with my money I can go and start a business, start growing. Let me even also add more to say, with my experience of establishing new businesses, I've learned that it takes at most 6 months of no profit while you are trying to establish. A good example.
Thank you.
I started food processing in February. If you can actually go on my Facebook page, you see when we started and all the processes I went through. You know, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, there was no profit. There was no business. We were struggling. That's why you see we didn't start other products. We were only specializing on milling. But right now, if I can tell you, we carry money in the card boxes. We can't put in a bag. The bag is not big enough. Our stocks are always empty. People have fallen in love with our product. People have familiarized with them. Even ourselves, in terms of production, we've improved. When our plant was installed, it was producing less than 5 tons per day. But now we've moved up to 8 tons because we now familiarized with the machines. We know how it goes, the packaging and so in order. It's like we now know the processes. So to someone who is planning to come to establish business in Botswana, for instance, you have 100,000 and you need 6 months of no profit while the business is growing. What are you going to eat? You are going to survive on what? So there are a lot of things there that needs to put in place for someone to establish a business.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marambire. I hope this is helping someone out there. Right now, we want to go into questions that help somebody, because I think you might actually be here. You are not in diaspora, but you are thinking of going to diaspora. If you are thinking of moving to Canada, go there first and see before you move everything. Because you might realize the climate or something doesn't go hand in hand with you. It's important for you to acclimatize yourself first. And I think, Mr. Marambire, you have said it so well. Now, I like the fact that you have mentioned that you can actually start a business 6 months. Some businesses, you can take 3 years, no profit.
Yes, it's possible.
So If you are moving from another country to another country, one other thing you need to know is that there are some businesses that are set aside for the locals.
Yes.
So if you don't know, you are just checking online, you will think that all those are opportunities for you. When you arrive, you realize that those things you were saying you want to do, they are not for you.
Yes.
So do your research thoroughly. Okay, let me read out what Namsi says. Namsi says, his financial practices are ones to take home. It's not every day that we have leaders advocate for discipline in that regard. I am inspired. So Mr. Marambire, Namsi is saying she's very inspired by your financial discipline, and she wishes all leaders would do this. She goes ahead to say, so glad to be here. She goes away to say, so glad to be here. The information shared here will come in handy with the consultancy project. And then watching from YouTube, Tumelo Ranau is watching with us. He's in Plokweng. Thank you, Tumelo. We appreciate your presence. We have Matsidiso. She wrote MIDI. Okay, I think they were responding to what we were saying earlier on. I had also said MIDI, so Matsidiso is saying MIDI. Then Tumelo says Palichi, supporting what Namsi says. So it's 2 versus 2. So all of us are correct, guys. Tumelo says, great strides by Botash to get new markets. Awesome. And then Peace says, powerful interview. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Peace, for the comment. Yes, Mr. Marambire, what advice do you have for people who are struggling in business right now? It doesn't matter where they are, whether they are in Dallas, Texas, they are in the UK, they are in Australia, they are in Cameroon, they are in South Africa, they are in Zimbabwe, they are in Botswana. They are struggling in business. What is your advice?
It's only that the term struggling is very broad. Struggling financially or struggling with market. So I will try to generalize it. Let us start struggling financially. That one we've already answered it. You need financial discipline. Struggling with market. That's where the aspect of marketing comes in. You need to understand your market. If yourself you can't market your product, please find a consultant to market your product. I always share with my peers, with my friends, that my greatest strength is marketing. I can sell a product. If I have something that I want to sell, I think you can see from my Facebook page that I try by all means to market my products in a unique way. And that's another part of selling. So if you are struggling with market yourself, if you can't market, then find someone who can assist you to market. Don't be stingy with money. Be prepared to part with money as long as the consultant will bring results to your business. And there's also struggling with struggling with resources. Sometimes there's business, there's market, but you don't have resources or stock. The best thing to do is to look for markets even beyond borders. I will give you an example. Right now, we've got some shortages of certain products in Zimbabwe. Before we even reached to the maximum level, I had already approached some suppliers from South Africa. Right now, in the next few weeks, you are going to receive trucks, tons and tons of certain products from South Africa. So it's another way of solving or addressing a certain struggle. I'm just trying to generalize all the things which I know people they can struggle along the business. You could be otherwise struggling to pay your employees wages and salaries. It's a struggle for real, and we cannot ignore that. It's very important to know the demand of your business when it comes to human resources. How many employees do you actually need? Don't keep people who are not productive in your organization. Don't just keep for the sake that I have employees, but you should always keep people in your organization which are essential, which are productive, which are really needed. And also consider the issue of salaries, wages and salaries, the rates that you are paying. Make sure that you are paying within the range that is commendable from the government, and which is also commendable from your business setup that you can afford. And maybe the struggle of transporting your goods, it is very important. There's no business that operates without transport. And I've noticed so many, particularly small businesses, they struggle on price. Their prices are always higher because they carry small quantities of goods from the supplier or from the wholesale to their shops, which now takes more money in transporting those goods. Hence, they end up selling at a higher price. That's why you find out that the tuck shop is always expensive than a supermarket. A supermarket, they bring in a 30-ton of goods. A tuck shop goes to a wholesale with a pickup and buy 10 things. So in that price, there's money for transport, there's money for phone, and there's money for for the people who are working in the tuck shop. So it goes hand in hand that uh, you need to have adequate transport for your business. If you are going to hire, make sure that you hire a big transport like a 30-ton truck. In transport, a small transport is more expensive than a bigger transport. A bigger truck is cheaper than a small car. You can hire a taxi at $50 and still hire a 7-ton at 150. You see the difference. So it's actually a struggle where people, they find themselves stuck, not knowing why I'm not making profit, why I'm not making good businesses. The best aspect which can make your business to move, it's your price. Your price will determine your sales. In June, when the lockdown was eased, everyone come to work and we were operating almost, I would say, 80%, 90% of our operations. And that month alone, we were struggling to pay salary. I called in my team and said, guys, look, the business is actually performing very, very poor. What shall we do? We put up a strategy where we lowered prices. But for us to be able to lower prices, we selected the particular goods which we order in bulk so that we can get a lower price in order to also sell on a lower price. I don't want to lie to you. We did our calculations and we realized that our business improved with over 150%. 150% in a business operation, it's huge. So I think that's how I can try to generalize the struggle in business and how people can overcome such a problem.
Thank
I
you
don't know
so
if
much,
I
Mr. Thank you so much, Mr. Marambire. Highly appreciated. I wanted to comment on the issue of if you are not good on marketing or you are not good on sales, you should hire somebody. I think it's a good idea. But I also think that as the CEO, as the MD, as the owner of your own enterprise, you must be the number one marketer and you must be the number one salesman. Some people actually say it in a harsh way and they say, if you can't sell, don't start a business. What do you think, Mr. Marambire?
I would tend to differ with you in that aspect because,
Right.
I once read on Strive Masiwa's page that there's a difference between marketing and sales.
Right, yes.
And to start a business, you might not be able to sell, but you can be able to administer the business, to put things together, to put processes, procedures, and all that is needed in business. Then once you put it there, you need someone to sell it. I'll give you a good example of an artist. An artist can be able to sing, produce nice music, good music, but cannot sell the music. That's why you find the artists are good managers. As an entrepreneur, you can be a good farmer. You know how to take care of a garden, produce good you have the right product at your hand, but you don't know how to sell it. It doesn't disqualify you from being an entrepreneur. That's why now you see that as an entrepreneur, you don't know everything, but you should be able. An entrepreneur is someone who is capable to create something and hire people and lead those people to produce a good service or to provide a good service. So as an entrepreneur, you are the CEO, you are the overseer, you are overseeing some operations that are taking place. Do you know that you can be an entrepreneur without knowing how to drive a big truck, but still you can hire someone who can do it for you? You can be an entrepreneur who has no knowledge about the HR policies, but you can hire an HR to do that for you. You can be an entrepreneur without knowledge of accounts, and then you can hire an accountant to do that for you. You can be an entrepreneur not knowing marketing and sales, but what you know is to put the product in the shelf. Once the product is there, it's of good quality, you need only marketers and sales team to sell your product. So I think on that, I will be a little bit different from you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Marambire. And I think that encourages somebody who is starting, who is not yet good at sales, so that they don't feel like they should not even start business. The only challenge with that is sometimes when you are starting, you cannot be able to hire anybody. So which means you must learn. You must be on your toes to learn, because you are the marketer, you are the salesperson, you are the cleaner, you are the MD, you are everything. So what we are saying is, don't be discouraged to say, since I don't know how to sell, since I don't know HR, it means I'm out. No, be willing to learn. And then if you are able to outsource or to hire someone who can do it for you, why not?
Yes.
Perfect. A few comments here. Prayer says, amazing topic to cover in such a hard time. Farai Nyawata says, that's powerful, Mr. Marambire. Quadro Moham says, great question. Prayer says, what kind of businesses are booming in Africa now? Lubupo Basiba Nembotle says the Genok Gembutsu principle. Farai Nyawata says, true, I always tell my friends not to start business so as to create employment for their relatives and friends. It's better to give them money, consult knowledgeable people. Tumelo says, good insights on the business environment. And Prayer says, true.
Thank you guys for such contributions.
Awesome. So in 2 minutes, what business opportunities would you say are booming in Africa right now?
The number one business that is booming in Africa is manufacturing. Manufacturing of anything, because you see, most of our consumption we are importing. We are importing flour, we are importing milling, we are importing lotion, just lotion. We are importing shoes, we are importing dresses. You know, sometimes I get very offended. We can't import clothes. We have everything in Africa. So the first business that is untapped, which we need to take serious, is manufacturing across board. It can be food processing, it can be clothing, it can be equipment, it can even technology. You know, last time I was on Facebook and I saw that there's a young man in South Africa who is I would not know to say invented or manufactured a cell phone, a smartphone. I was like, wow, this is amazing. That's what we need in Africa. Then from manufacturing, the other serious business that I would want to point out, it's farming. We have got varsity land. We have got available underground water or dams or even rain for rainwater, which we can utilize. You know, we are so lazy when it comes to farming. I don't know who installed that mindset in Africa, that farming is a punishment. I think it's very unfortunate when you go to several schools, when a student misbehaves in school, he's sent to the garden. So
as
now
punishment.
At home, if you misbehave at home, you are sent to the garden. You see, so we are installing a mindset in our children or in our people that farming is a punishment. Yet farming is it's a type of business that has got, in most cases, you get up to 100% profit margin, 100% profit margin or beyond that. That's the only business I know of such. That you take a 10 kg of maize seeds and plant on a hectares, 3 hectares, 5 hectares, and then you in return you get tons and tons of maize. From a 10 kg, you get tons and tons, you harvest tons and tons of maize. you keep one pig. When it gives birth to 22 or 11 or 18 young ones. From one, you are now having 18 or 11. It's a multiplication which is beyond business principle. So farming is another business that I would want to encourage people to look into. Then there's also mining. Unfortunately, several governments, they restrict mining to large scale miners who has got more money. Investors have got billions and millions. Privilege enough, I think it's DRC and Zimbabwe. I don't know other countries where they allow small scale miners, where you only need maybe 500 or 50 puller, or 500 puller to register for prospecting license. Then you go and explore and start pegging. Mining is also another strong business in Africa. As what I've experienced right now in Zimbabwe, we have got instant millionaires who just peg a claim and start mining. By the luck of God, someone start extracting lots and lots of gold, and they become millionaires. So what else? Retail on its own, buying and selling. You'd find out that the strongest supermarkets in Africa, they are owned by foreigners. So you want to tell me that in Africa, we don't have individuals who can establish a multi chain of supermarkets? Just tell me one you know. You'd find that maybe a family can raise up and start one supermarket. They can't expand to go to other towns. You'd only know that the supermarket is in Wurolong, or is in Ilinzwelitau, or is in Mulepule, or is in Havron only. You can't find a local person running supermarkets all around Botswana or all around Zimbabwe. It's unfortunate that I can't mention names of those foreign-owned supermarkets. So retail on its own, it's actually a very strong business where we need to see Africans running supermarkets, Africans running wholesalers. You know, as I started food processing industry, I've now witnessed quite a huge market. And this is just a secret I'm sharing with you today. If God wishes, you're going to witness it. I'm thinking of establishing wholesalers across Zimbabwe. And I mean serious wholesalers. One day to one day, you will see wholesalers across Zimbabwe, maybe expanding to other African countries, because I believe that we are capable of doing such things. You see even a business of selling clothes and shoes. Right now, look around. All the business which are selling clothes, they are foreign owned. We don't have our own African outlets of business which are running across the country in different towns. If it may happen that a one Mutswana or one Zimbabwean is running a boutique, it's only one boutique in one town. You can't expand. So it's high time we need to ask ourselves, what is hindering us from establishing such business? We need those big businesses owned by locals. Right now, as I'm running hardware outlets, we are working on establishing another big hardware in our capital city. For the past week, we were looking for a bigger piece of a bigger shop where we can establish such a business. I have got a belief that I can run something as big as cash build, as big as buy and build, as big as any other hardware that is from South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Botswana. It can be done by us Africans. We should not limit ourselves. And believe you me, Doc, in a few years, that's where we are going. And people who are watching today, they witness that this young man told us about this. Look where he is now.
Right. Thank you so much. Highly appreciated. Now, we have some people who are graduates, recent graduates. Some have graduated a few years ago, and they don't know what to do right now. There are no jobs. And this also includes people who have lost their jobs. What advice do you have for them?
We are in a very difficult time. You know, most of the time I drive around and look at how people are living their lives. I interact with people through social media, graduates from universities, young people for that matter, who should be starting their lives at as early as possible. And I really feel affected. I have got that empathy. I feel so sorry and sometimes it troubles me to see fellow citizens who have lost their jobs, particularly due to the COVID-19, because so many companies so far have closed due to the COVID-19. And it's quite a very difficult question to answer because what happened is new to everyone. We have never experienced such a thing. Only what I can say is everyone should stay positive. Uh, Everything that have happened, it's just an event, which I believe it shall come to pass. Uh, Let me try to answer for the graduates, those who have finished studying their um, their studies. One thing I would want to blame our education system is they teach us to be employees, and they don't provide the guidance counseling. Not guide, is it guidance? Career guidance, sorry, career guidance, where you'd find a student spends 3 years, 4 years studying a certain course that she or he will never like, or a course that is not marketable. You find someone who is graduated in let me say uh, what do you call it this, administration and is it administration and politics. There's another study which I've noticed a lot of students are studying, particularly in Zimbabwe, and it's not marketable. After you finish, you are done, you can't do anything. So it's very unfortunate. But anyway, as human beings, and as we have said earlier, that you should not sit down and cry. Look for opportunities, even partnership. I always encourage us as Africans that we should learn to partner. You are 5 students who have graduated from the same college. You spend 3 years together. You know each other very well. You have got different skills. Combine, come together, start something together. If one has got 100 plus, you are 5 altogether. You've got 500 plus, including that varsity knowledge in each and every one of you. Then you can start something. And for those who have lost employment due to this pandemic, I would say stay positive. Um, if possible, try to see with your knowledge that you have gained from your former employee, from your former job. If you had gained enough knowledge to start something, then start a business in the same line with what you've been doing. You can actually um, get something out of it. And I think if I would have an opportunity to speak to any influencer or a government point of view, the government should chip in and assist those who have lost who have lost their jobs. Either if they want to start business, they can be assisted. If they want to, obviously, I think the option that remains there is to start a business. But honestly, it's a difficult question to answer because we are in a crisis where we need to think beyond our normal thinking.
Thank you so much, Mr. Marambire. I think it was last week when we did another live on this YouTube channel, and we were discussing some of the business ideas that people can do, particularly for those in Botswana. So if you are here and you have not yet watched that video, please go and check it. And I would like to advise those who are watching us on YouTube, please remember to like, to share, to comment, and also remember to subscribe and click the all notification bell. Mr. Marambire, as we go towards the end of the interview, we really appreciate you. Unfortunately, it has gotten longer than I thought. You were recently nominated for your philanthropic activities. Tell us about that.
Oh, you know, I'm someone who believes and promote the spirit of giving. My background when I grew up, I went through some terrible things, suffering and poverty. Sometimes I say there's no any kind of poverty that I didn't go through. The only danger that I escaped is death. But all other sorts of poverty you might think of, I went through them. Hunger, going without proper clothes, and even insulted by people, ill-treated and all that. So when I grow up, I then decided to say, each time I have something, I have to give. Not because I have, but I give because I understand the feeling of having nothing. I once been there and I know it's not good. So we have been giving, I think, since long time ago. of recent this year, we were nominated among the people, among the companies that are giving back to the community. And after we presented our history background and the activities that we participated, we came first in the two provinces, that is the Midland province and the Mashogo province. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. But actually, for your own information, when we give, we try to do a lot of things behind the camera. We don't announce unless when we give to an organization or an institution, like an orphanage, like a school, whatever. That's when we announce. But if we are to give to families and individuals, we don't announce that. But somewhere, I don't know, the news always find their ways to reach to certain people. So we were nominated, and we want to thank our government of Zimbabwe. We want to thank the EMA, the Minister of Environment and what agents, the EMA, and the Minister of, look, I don't know the name now.
Don't worry, don't worry. It's fine.
We really thank our government for that, and it's good to be acknowledged.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate your philanthropic activities, including you appearing on shows like this one to empower others and give them practical insights that can actually change their lives.
Thank you. Can I say something on that? Can I say something on
Yes.
that topic?
Mm-hmm.
I always give people advice that if one day it will happen that God has blessed you with wealth, don't spend your money building a taller wall surrounding yourself for people not to be able to reach you. Instead, use your resources and your money to expand your table so that many people can sit on your table and dine with you.
Excellent, excellent, well said. I think there is an illustration I once had of the Red Sea versus the Dead Sea. So the Dead Sea is full of salt. The Dead Sea receives water, but it doesn't let water out. The Red Sea allows water in and allows water to go out. If you become that kind of person who receives, but you don't want to give out, then your life won't be refreshed.
Okay.
It's just it's just like a pipe that receives water and keeps all the water. After some time, it rusts. But a pipe that allows water to continuously pass, it won't rust the same way.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, so we must avoid to be like the Dead Sea. We must be like the Red Sea. Any other thoughts, Mr. Marambire? Before your other thoughts, I would like to thank everybody who is with us. If you have final questions, final comments, please ask in the next 3, 4, 5 minutes. We are wrapping up. Mr. Marambire will give us his final thoughts. But I didn't want to forget to say, what if people want your book? Where do they get it?
Oh, the book is on Amazon. I think I'll give you the link to share with people. And also the book is, we did an audio version of the book, and we uploaded it on Sasai podcast under the category entrepreneurs. So now that life is, I know most of Africans, they don't like reading, but at least listening you can. Just go on Sasai on a podcast, you place, and while you are busy sweeping your house or driving your car, you are listening to the audio version.
Nice. Excellent. So guys, you don't want to miss that book, The Head Boy. That's where you will hear all the story, the whole story of what happened in Mr. Marambire's life. Any other thoughts, Mr. Marambire?
Actually, I think
your final words.
We have exhausted. My final words I want to say is to those who are listening and those who are going to listen to this video, it's you and you alone who has got the power to create your destiny. Please stop the blaming game to say my government is not doing this, my uncle is not doing this, my mother. At least start using the word I. I am not doing this. Am I doing that? Am I doing that? And I also want to say, those who want to start business, I always say, just start. Just start. There's no right time to start. There's no adequate resources to start, but just start. And one guy once said in a conference, Mr. Marambire, you are saying just start. How do I just start? I said, just start. For example, you want to do farming. You have the piece of land. Start by plowing something that is not expensive to buy. There's an example which was once given by another guy on Nigel Chanakara's post that, do you know that sweet potatoes is rich? And for you to plow sweet potatoes, you only need plant cards and the soil. And the plant cards are for free. If they are to be sold, it's very, very close to nothing. So, just start. And someone once said, I want to start a preschool, but I don't have a license. I don't have this and that. I said, you know what you should do? Start first and you regularize your business as you go. Don't wait to put all requirements on the ground for you to start. Start, even if the authorities come, tell them that I'm in the process to regularize everything, to get license, to get whatever that might be needed. So the theme or the thing is just start. Just start, don't wait. Everything will formalize and normalize as you go.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Marambire. Ladies and gentlemen, just start. If you have heard this, you are on YouTube, please type just start. Hashtag just start. Please, everybody type that. Hashtag just start, just start, just start, just start. I think that's a powerful way of ending the show, Mr. Marambire. Farai says, I think selling is an integral part of business. You need to sell the idea first. Thank you so much, Farai, for that. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for coming to the show. This is a show where we want to empower entrepreneurs and business leaders. Africa will never be the same again. Together, we will impact Africa and leave it better than we found it. Mr. Marambire, you have been amazing. Everybody, family and friends, you have been amazing. Thank you so much. Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.